All right. Awesome. I think we are live. Let me just double check.
Yeah, it says live up on the box, up on the corner.
Perfect. All right. Well, what's up, Dustin? How are you?
I'm good, man. And you?
I'm doing great. Dude,
Awesome.
I'm so excited for this, to be able to jump on and share your story, have you share your story. And we've had a chance to work together over these last it's been 3.5 months now. And if you are just tuning in, hey, I just want you to, this is a chance to celebrate Dustin, Pastor Dustin, and his success. And as we've been working together and all the just incredible things, I mean, you are a guy from the very beginning, from the get-go, you're like just ready to roll out the gate and just, fly forward. And it's been cool to see your process and your progress throughout. And we're going to get into some of those things. But if you wouldn't mind, for those who don't know you, if you want to just open up by just sharing just a few details of who you are and where you were at when we first sat down. It's back in almost July now. We first got a chance to talk, and I know we had some prior connection back in the day, and just knowing where you were, and you were a football coach, you're college football coach, you were involved in so many different areas, and so truly it's been exciting to be able to work with you. But if you don't mind, let's just start there with just having you share a little about who you are and what that was like, where that place you were in when we first sat down.
Yeah, man. It's been a crazy, wild journey, and the big thing for me, like Jacob said, we've known each other for a while, and I seen a post of his on Facebook. I was on vacation in July, tired, exhausted, was about a year and change into my first lead pastor role. I'd never been a lead pastor before. I'd come from a large church in Missouri, very large church, where I was on staff as a pastor, but had never had any intentions of being a lead pastor. And the Lord dropped me in a position to be a lead pastor, and it was exhausting, and I was exhausted. I'm on vacation. My knees hurt, my back hurt, my hips hurt. It's all kinds of soft tissue stuff. I was trying to train with my kids. They were getting ready to play football, and every time I turned around, I was, straining a hamstring or straining my quad or straining my groin, and just all these soft tissue issues. I couldn't stay on top of them. And I was here I am, a 44-year-old man, and I felt like 60, and I didn't like it at all. I get up in the morning, I couldn't hardly walk, and I was like, man, I have to change something. And I seen Jacob's post on Facebook, and I'm like, dude, I know this guy. I can trust this guy. I value this man. I have known Jacob and his wife for, quite a while. We had been North Dakota native peeps together, and then we became Missouri native peeps together. And it was, to me, it was just like, hey, I have my master's in health and physical education and recreation, so I know enough that I knew I needed to change some things, but I also knew that the big area that I was lacking was I didn't want to be in the gym anymore. I'd been a coach, a PE teacher. I'd done weights and all this stuff, but I hated walking into a gym and not knowing what to do. And that's where I felt I was at. And I hated how my body would feel when I'd get done. My knees would swell and they'd be swollen for several days. I'd have to walk around with like copper braces or copper sleeves just to even get my knees to function. And I'm 44 years old, I don't want to feel like that. And so it was just, I knew I had to do something. So that second week of July, man, I reached out to Jacob, and my wife was skeptical at first, but it's been amazing in the 3.5 months. Just an incredible journey for sure.
I love it. And I remember from that first conversation, I've always known about you, and it was confirmed even from our first meeting that you have been somebody who is, you own your stuff, you're dedicated, you follow through on things. And so giving up, it was not an option. Giving up on yourself was never an option, and I want to kind of address this question of why for you during that time, because it's not like, this was your first time dusting the doors of a gym. right? Because of your background, your experience, your master's, as you said, being a college football coach, playing ball all through school and college. Like this is a familiar world to you. And so the question I want to just tackle is, why at that point did you decide to commit? What were some of the things that you tried? And then leading into, why did you decide to commit to moving forward and working together despite all of those things that you had tried and that you'd known?
Well, during my time of coaching, I would just do the programs that the guys were doing. And, back in 2016, probably 2015, I started having severe joint pain, both shoulders, elbows, and massive knee pain. And I mean, I couldn't do the traditional weightlifting anymore. I had to like completely modify things. And when I was at that time, I was the athletic director and head football coach of a program in North Dakota. I had full access to whatever I wanted, including our trainers. And so they'd keep me upright. I started about that time, 2015 or 16. We went on a product called Yoli, and really started getting healthy from the inside out. I truly do believe that your health starts in your gut. And if your gut's not healthy, the rest of your body's not going to be healthy. And we really took my wife kind of led that charge, and then I followed her charge. But when we moved to Springfield, man, everything fell flat on its face. I wasn't the athletic director anymore. I wasn't the head coach anymore. I was underneath someone else's leadership, and time became very precious at that time. And then when I went on staff at James River, which was the large church I was at, well, I never had time for nothing. I mean, you're just like, holy cow. And so I'd have to try to carve out a 20 or 30-minute session to do something. And I didn't want to lift weight. I couldn't lift weights anymore. I had kind of really merged into this functional training mindset. Everything I did was functional training, stability balls, medicine balls, kettlebells, light dumbbell type stuff. And I didn't have the resource to do it anymore. And so my workouts had become like 10-minute little things here and there of push-ups, sit-ups, and body weight squats. But it just became so monotonous and so discouraging because I didn't know what to do. And I think the hardest part was I knew what I should be doing, but I didn't have the motivation to do it, nor did I have the time to do it. And my body would just hurt. But I still tried to push my body like I was still doing those things, and it was resulting in lots of injuries. Like I'd still push myself to the max playing softball or stuff like that, and I always get hurt. And and then you end up going to the chiropractor, you're going to the deep tissue massage therapist, or you're trying to work stuff out because you're still running around like you're 25 and you're not 25. But it was just hard. But that's the thing for me that I was like, this has to change. I don't want to feel 40. I don't want to look 40. I don't want to feel 40. And I have to do the things necessary to make that adjustment. I can't just say it. I have to do things about it. And so that's why I reached out to you. And honestly, that's why I called you back, because our first conversation, I was sold instantly because I knew you were going to be able to take my functional training that I almost had to live on, but you were going to fix my imbalances and gradually get me to be able to do other things. And that's absolutely been the course. We started almost exclusively functionally. Almost everything we did was functional, or at least very controlled. So like Smith machine stuff, lots and 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 lots of cables. I'd never done so many cable workouts in my life, but it was so necessary for the improvements that I made. And one of the biggest things that stood out to me is how you've improved my balances. I mean, my left leg and right leg were massively different. There was like over 2-inch difference between my right and left leg. And that was corrected almost within the first 6 weeks.
Huge.
Yeah, crazy. And and that was a credit to you and the program that you put me on and what you were doing. And there was a lot of uncomfortable things that I did not like. I think I would text you at least once a week and say that lift was straight from the gates of Hades.
You're like, what is this, man?
What in the world are you having me do?
But I'd explain it, and we talked through it and all of that. And so it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that structure has been something from the very beginning that you mentioned was going to be a key thing for you to be able to get back on track and to be ultimately in the place that you wanted to be in. And if you could just take a moment and really just share what it's like where you're at now. And I know that we're still working together. I mean, our time isn't done. This is just a milestone that we're getting to, highlight here. Well, what's different from then until now in terms of the results and things that how life is different, how you're experiencing things differently because of what you've done, because of what we've done together? What does that look like?
Well, the first thing, and this is something that my wife and I talked about a lot. I mean, you can see the physical change, the physique differences, the muscles that weren't there before, and just kind of, trimming up, but not just trimming up, but adding them, I think I've added muscle mass too, which wasn't necessarily a goal moving forward. It's just been a byproduct, but anyway, to me, the biggest thing is how you've helped me with time management. And that was huge, especially being a lead pastor for the first time. And over a year into the post, I was really struggling with managing my days and my times. And there'd be times I wouldn't finish my sermon for Sunday until like after midnight on Saturday. And you're just like, and you've really helped me manage my time better, especially in the mornings, get up and get going, because I was in such a rut where I didn't want to get up and get going. I'd waste so much time. I've kind of slid back into that, by the way, but yeah, anyway, no, I just sometimes, yeah, we're still working on that. But that was a huge piece for me, just to get up and get the structure for that. And then also the eating has been like the videos that you would send, to anybody watching. Sometimes you'll see a video and it's 17 minutes long. You're like, I ain't got 17 minutes to watch a video of Jacob talking about how I'm supposed to eat. Watch them. Just watch them. Watch them while you're eating things you're not supposed to be eating, and then feel guilty about it and not eat those things again. But they were so valuable for me, like the portion control stuff, and eating till you're 80% full instead of 100% full. Understanding, how your plate should look, proteins and greens and carbs, counting, the macros and counting my food. Those things were big. And now I'm at the point where, hey, I know where I'm at. I know how many of these I need to drink a day to consume my water. I know I need to be at 5 of these a day. Yeah. And that puts me at half my body weight for water. And sometimes I drink 6 of those a day, and it's water.
Yeah. And I know I know you had a recent check-in too, to really even see those results of that, the work that you've been putting in. What does that look like? Yeah,
it was really good. As I did the check-in and they took my body, they did my body scan or whatever, at my weight, I was over half my weight was water weight, which they said was really, really good. And they really encouraged about that. And then my body percent I was at 10% body fat, which a goal for us coming in was that we wanted to get to single digits. And so we're almost there. Yeah. And my guess when we started, I was probably around 15 to 17%. I think somewhere in there was probably where we started. Yeah. I'd stepped on a scale about halfway through and it said it was 19%. And you and I both thought that was probably inaccurate. But that's the metric that we had to work with. And coming in at 10%, you're like, and there's still things I see in the mirror that I still want more of the belly fat to melt away, but knowing how to do that and how to partner with, the programs that you're in place with has just been huge. To me, it's the structure that you provided with time and eating, not just the structure of the workouts. I've said this already. I'm going to say it again. I'll reiterate it. This is a driving point, especially for those watching. They're like, how does this fit for me? Listen, I don't have a lot of time to waste. And I waste enough time on my own on this stinking thing, right? Scrolling through social media and playing video games. I need to be structured with my time. And Jacob's been so good with helping me with that. It's been invaluable to me. It's made every penny that I've paid him well worth it. So.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It's your efforts have paid off. I've seen that. We stair step through, and I remember one of the beginning conversations is, man, just don't go after my love crunch. I love eating my love crunch, And, and honestly, that was your decision, as we went through, and we never like cut that out completely. You still had the things in there that you loved.
Yeah.
But
I still eat my love crunch. I just do it in moderation.
Right. All things in moderation.
Yeah, it's still right here, bro.
There it is.
Still got it.
Yeah. So speaking of love, I remember we got on, there's a few times we got on, and I think it's a big win of just hearing your wife's perspective and how and you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier on, but I like for you to just maybe talk a little bit about that, your wife's perspective of things from the beginning until now, and just it was cool getting on times with you over a call and just hearing, y'all's interactions and how it encouraged you. If you could just take a moment to share about that.
Yeah, well, she was super skeptical at first. She's like, no way. And we were, at the time that we started, we just bought a house. So I'm a sneakerhead, right? I got a pair of Jordan 11s on right now. I love my Jordan 11s. These are Jordan 11s. These are the legacies. Okay, they're fire, nice. Right? Don't mess with my shoes. I got over 20 pairs of shoes in my closet. They're in lockers. They're, don't touch my shoes, right? But to help pay for this, I had to sell a couple pairs of shoes, just because, and that was the deal that I made with my wife, because I was, just because we just bought a house, and so every spare penny we had was going towards the things we were doing to the home, and but my wife was gracious enough to say, let's give it a shot, but you got to promise to sell some shoes, and but to see her come along to the point where when we finished the 12 weeks and I wanted to continue the process with you and to continue the payment process, there wasn't even a question asked for my wife. She said, yep, let's do it. And that was the difference. Wow. For making me sell a couple of pairs of shoes. Y'all are probably laughing at me, probably like, this guy, what? Listen, shoes can make you a lot of money, y'all. Don't be hating on me, okay?
That was your collateral that you had to put up.
I sold a pair of Jordan reverse taxis, and I'm like, why did I just sell those? But I didn't like them anyway, so whatever. But they're in great shape too, man. Those are like probably brand new. But I mean, you did some of these things because it was important. But then like halfway through, she starts noticing, some, the biceps a little bigger than it was before. There's definition in the shoulders and the back and the chest, and the belly is starting to tighten up, and the obliques and some of those areas around there, they're starting to tighten up. And she even started to notice like definition in my leg muscles, because I've never really focused on my legs, and Sir Jacob has just hammered my legs, which to his testament, my knees have hardly swollen at all. I think we've had maybe one or two instances where they did, and I think both of those could have been testimony to the weather changing and getting colder than anything else.
That was like an every time occurrence with basketball. Yes. And all that stuff.
Yeah, every time I'd use them, they'd swell, and they just. Wow. And I mean, almost every single workout, Jacob's got me doing something with my legs, a deadlift or a lunge, or even just like a step up to balance, which I hated those at first, but they were huge, and yeah. she like, I sent her a picture the other day of, I know we make fun of those people that take selfies of themselves in the gym, but I couldn't help but notice how I looked in the mirror, and not sounding arrogant or prideful at all. Yeah. I'm a skinny little chicken nugget, and when you see some definition and some muscle, you're like, whoa, hey, look at that guy, man, do some work. So I snapped a photo and sent it to my wife, and she didn't believe it was me. She had thought that I had put my head on somebody else, and I was like, baby, that's all me. And she's like, I don't know. She just, and then we were on a Zoom call, one of our meetings, and she chimed in and told Jacob I got muscles everywhere, and so it's nice to see, and that's the person that I want to look nice for the rest of my life. It's my wife, and I don't want to get fat and slobby. I want to stay nice and fit for her. And that was part of my why, part of my motivation is I want to look nice for my wife. So
well, that's huge.
To see that, yeah,
that's huge. Because a lot of people can talk a big game and have words, but to back that up, I've seen that throughout this time and time. You've backed up your words with action, and that speaks volumes, and that takes integrity, and that's what you've shown throughout, honestly, because some of the things that I'm hearing is, relationships, like for you to take a selfie in the mirror, which can be uncomfortable, like in the middle of the gym, for you to take that says the picture that you have in your head of what you should be is now lining up with where you're at. And when you look good, you feel good, and that's your relationship with yourself. And then from there, outward relationship with your spouse and others, and the time management, all of those things, man. I'm just happy to say I'm proud of you for kicking butt in this process, and taking time to, even that shows so much dedication from your side of things, investing yourself to. Not everyone is willing to do that. Not everyone is willing to sell a pair of shoes or to, things that, it's not just the shoes, but it's the matter of something that you love in order to invest back into yourself, because your actions are lining up with the values that you say you have. And I've seen that throughout. And so I just want to say, man, from my heart to yours, I appreciate you. I appreciate your dedication and all you've put in. And I believe that it's inspiring other people from the stories that you told me, and how people have not just compliments, but they've recognized how you've changed, and that inspires change in others. And so to just kind of wrap things up here, and in pastoral language here, landing the plane, if you could just share with those that are watching the replay, which, by the way, if you're watching now or in the replay, and hit the like button, the love button, just smash some support for Pastor Dustin. But I just want to go out on an encouragement. How would you encourage those that were in the same place or similar that you were in back in July, and they're waffling between a decision, or maybe it's a spouse that needs just affirmation that they're going to see the change that their spouse wants? What would you say to that person that needs inspiration and encouragement?
Well, I used to say something all the time to my athletes when I was coaching, and I would tell them to keep doing the same thing that you've been doing, but expect different results. It's the definition of insanity, right? If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep having what you've been having. And if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep being what you're being. You have to make a change. And the biggest thing about making a change is just committing to it and saying, I'm going to do this. I don't mean to get preachy here, but I'm a pastor, so I'm going to. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is the story of Peter. And because Peter was just like all of us, he was a bum. He made dumb choices. He did stupid things. Jesus was always correcting him, right? And I believe every person, every human being can relate to Peter. Yeah, but one of the awesomest things about Peter is the story in the Bible of when he walked on water. The other 11 disciples were in the boat too. All 12 of them were in the boat, but only one of them got out of the boat and walked on water. And that one was Peter. And he had to make the choice to get that foot out up over the edge of the boat, and then the other foot up over the edge of the boat, and start walking out on those waves and start pressing towards Jesus. But he had to first make the choice that said, I'll get out and I'm going to do what no one else will do. And I'm going to be the only man to walk on water. Yeah. Come on. I mean, it's just a matter of saying, I'm going to make the choice. I'm going to make the decision because I'm tired of the way things have been. I'm tired of what I've had or what has been going on. I need something different. I want something different. So I'm going to do what I have to do, selling a pair of shoes, whatever it is. We all got a closet full of things we probably never wear, and you throw those on Facebook Live community pages or whatever, and you get $20 here and $20 there. And the next thing you know, you're meeting your monthly payment, or you stop drinking so many Mountain Dews or Red Bulls every day, and you cut that down. You start drinking water instead. Some of you drink so many caffeinated beverages, you could probably almost pay for what it would cost to do this. But that's the thing for me, is you've just got to make the decision. And then once you make the decision, just keep going. Just keep going, because you'll hit a week. Probably around week 4, you'll start being like, oh my gosh, this sucks. I can't do this anymore. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Again, quoting the Bible, if the Israelites had stopped circling Jericho on the 6th day, they would have missed the promise of the promised land. just keep circling, just keep going, just keep grinding. So that's my spiel. Sorry for preaching y'all if y'all didn't want to be preached at.
No, it's good. It's good. It's inspiring. And I appreciate you, Pastor Dustin. You are a walking, talking example of health and, taking charge of your life, your health, your responsibilities, and being a man and a person of integrity. So I appreciate you, man. Iron sharpens iron. I'm so glad you said yes in the beginning, and we're continuing to work together, and you're just going to keep stair stepping. So thanks, man, for your time, and have a great day.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right. See y'all.
Awesome, man. Deuces, brother.